Good evening. Good evening, Chairwoman Carter, ladies and gentlemen, Freeholder Board, Bruce Paterson Garwood. I'm glad to hear you're stating zero tolerance to theft and corruption. I would assume it's starting today, I guess. So, but anyway. You mentioned the asset management system last week, and County Manager Fael mentioned it again. But last week you were thanking all sorts of people, but you really did miss out on the person who actually got you to implement the system, and that's Tina Renna and the watchdogs. Because of her investigations into the waste and the abuse that goes on in the county and the equipment that disappears, she even uncovered the possibility of a freeholder's son was implicated in things. But anyway, because of her, she stood up here at this podium saying, how do you track your stuff? How do you track your inventory? How do you know what you have? And now you're finally instituting this thing, which is really strange because, to tell you the truth, it should have been instituted years ago. But you're instituting it now, and you didn't thank her. And to tell you the truth, I would stand here and I want you to say thank you, Tina Renna and the county watchdogs, for having us implement this system. Because now the taxpayers feel a little more comfortable that stuff isn't just disappearing like it was in the years previous. And to tell you the truth, I mean, it's great. I'm glad to hear that you're implementing this asset management system. The next step is enforcement of it and accountability when you do find something. Like this Neil Palmieri you mentioned, and you're outraged. I mean, we are all outraged because this shouldn't be. A bull came out of the cesspool of corruption, and found out he was stealing $100,000 to $200,000 in the last 5 years. And yes, hopefully we do get it back because this is taxpayers' money, and I hope he's prosecuted. But the sad thing is, how did it come about? I mean, all these years, is it the asset management system that wasn't in place? Maybe, I don't know, but I'll tell you, he was doing it, and there was no accountability. I mean, the watchdogs come up here and they point out a lot of things, a lot of problems wrong with this, and most of it's accountability problems. Speaking of Neil Palmieri, actually I got a copy of his resignation letter, and he says, this is to inform you that I, Neil Palmieri, am resigning from the County of Union as of 9/30/13. It was a pleasure to have you as my boss for the last couple of years. He sent this to Director Graziano, and I mean, to me, it seems a little funny. After walking away with $200,000, of course it was a pleasure to be working under Director Graziano. So, but something needs to be done. There's got to be accountability. Yes, occasionally, Charlotte DeFilippo gets forced to resign, and Romanco, doesn't get selected again by Christie. I mean, yes, things are changing, hopefully to the better. So, starting forward, moving forward, zero tolerance, I sure hope so. I guess that's it. But, I also find fault with, in the resolution, when the public can speak on resolutions, you kept forcing me saying, what's the question? What's the question? Well, the public can comment too. The public can speak. I know you don't like to hear what the public says because it hits home so much, because the county has major problems. But the public can speak. The public can comment. It doesn't necessarily have to question. And in fact, that actually contradicts Freeholder Marabella's statement from a couple of weeks ago, where he said the public's questioning is absurd. He calls it absurd. You guys, I'm just starting to rant and rave. So, I mean, I'll calm down, and I'll just say thank you very much for instituting zero tolerance now.
Let me just say this, that we have no problem with any questions that you're asking or any comments that you're making, but it's also the place of the meeting, the agenda of where we have placed it for you to do that. So if there's a question in reference or a comment in reference to the direct resolution that we are voting on, then that's what we want to stick with that portion of the agenda. By all means, and then you do get the second portion where you can state anything you like. I just want to make that clear. We have never stopped anyone from making any comments or statements as long as it pertains. Excuse me. Are you leaving it? Please don't come back up. Your time is up.
But because Freeholder Sullivan, he over-yelled at me when I was trying to make a statement about the prosecutor's office.
You are out of order.
Of course I'm out of order, because you're out of order too. You're not even telling
Mr.
the truth.
Patterson, we're not going to do this. Now, if you like, you can go ahead and leave, because you normally just walk yourself out at this point.
Yes.
So,
Maybe y'all ask, maybe y'all ask for a
Mr.
seat
Patterson,
at the
can you
debate.
ask me to leave, please? Thank you, Ms. Patterson, you can leave at this point.
I'm staying.
Sir, tell me.
Well, then you're physically gonna have to throw me out. Because I can't tolerate people lying like that.
Mr. Patterson, we're not lying, that's number one, and we're not
You
going
just
to
lied
do the back of Mr. Patterson. Have a great day, Mr. Patterson. It's not a rebuttal, and again, we give you opportunity to come up and speak freely, and especially this portion of it. We want to hear what their comments and concerns. There are also other ways, if anyone feels that they need to contact us, we have our emails, please go to our website, you can get our email addresses, and you can also call us. But we welcome the comments from anyone that comes to the podium. And it's just a matter of making sure that they're kept in the right place. I don't want anybody to think that we cut them off. But when it's in reference to the resolutions, we like to keep the comments and the questions to those resolutions. And thank you. You can go right ahead.